Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some basketball. As you can see, we're in a different setting, mainly because I was bored of my previous setting, essentially. That is the only reason why I am here and not in my little office space, which is literally behind this wall right there. But at the end of the day, I just really wanted to sit on my bed, and I really couldn't be bothered to get up and just do that, so I just thought I'd bring my tripod in here, got my microphone and stuff, and just sit on my bed, because it's quite comfy, and as you can see, I like being comfy. But I just wanted to talk about an interview which we had actually spoken about yesterday as well, which was a Jason Tatum one where he talked about his injury and stuff like that, which I always thought was quite interesting, how he talked about it and how people took it, because I didn't think it was a major issue. In my opinion, he wasn't using it as an excuse. He wasn't using it as anything other than just saying what it was, which was kind of like a small fracture in his hand or wrist or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, people saying, "Oh, this excuses his finals performance." I love Jason Tatum. I do. I truly love him, so much. But I can't excuse it for that when he had that injury from January onwards. When he was playing exceptionally well at an MVP caliber, where people were putting him in that top 5 for MVP voting. He was playing with that injury then. So I can't agree that that's why the Celtics lost the NBA Finals. In my opinion, I'm just going to talk about quickly why the Celtics did lose the NBA Finals. In my humble opinion, guys, by the way. So basically, in my opinion, I think the Celtics lost it mainly because of fatigue. And you can put that down to a number of reasons, such as the Celtics not finishing games off. We saw series go to 7 in Milwaukee and with the Miami Heat, which really contributed to things where the Warriors would have games off or days just before where they didn't have to play, so they had more time to recover. And I think these things, like just the pure exhaustion of playing as hard as they could from January onwards. Like Jason Tatum said, at January onwards, throughout the whole season, they felt like every game was a must-win. Now, realistically, that shouldn't be how it is when you're in that period. You should kind of be acclimatized into playing a certain amount of minutes, not feeling that you have to win every game, because you've been playing that way all season. When you only turn up halfway through the season and you want to make it into a good playoff spot, you've got to turn it on and leave it on. And that is a major problem why the Celtics couldn't really perform at the high level, which a lot of people like myself expected them to, because it was just fatigue, in my opinion. That's the main reason why the Celtics couldn't perform and do what they needed to do. It's kind of like when we talk about momentum. Momentum can be a really good thing, but there's such thing as peaking too early. And I think the Celtics, in my opinion, peaked too early. They obviously really good defensively, just offensively and just energy-wise, just really seemed to run out of steam, and just belief in that drive that they had throughout the second half of the season and throughout the playoffs really started to become apparent that they just kind of lost that feeling around the organization and around the team. Ime was coming out and not really focusing on the positives as much as he usually did. He used to always say throughout the whole season that, we can do this to get better, we're going to do this. He didn't really have any answers in the Warriors series, in my personal opinion, from what I heard in interviews. It kind of felt inevitable that Game 6, that was going to be it, because the Celtics had nothing left. And the Warriors, in my opinion, just had more rest and were a lot more composed and knew that situation, obviously, before, so they knew what to expect. They knew going into it what exactly they needed to do to win. The Celtics, all of them players, have never been in that situation. Even a guy as experienced as Al Horford, never been in that situation. The furthest he ever got was conference finals, and he beat that, getting to the NBA Finals, which is kind of interesting at the end of the day. But in my opinion, Jason Tatum's injury was not the main reasons why the Celtics lost that series, because Jason Tatum still played extremely well. He still was that best player other than Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, was the best player in that finals series. But you can have that loads of times. Different players are better in the finals just because of different factors. And just because he wasn't at his best, in my opinion, doesn't mean that the Celtics would have won it if he wasn't injured. He performed really well throughout the season when he had that injury. I just don't see a reason why we should allow that to be the excuse when Jason Tatum told us himself that that is not an excuse. It was fatigue, in my opinion, and it's as simple as that. It's fatigue. and it's so tiring playing those games where they're must-win games constantly over and over again, where you need to win them to just be in a position where you can compete with teams because you performed so badly at the start of the season. And it's interesting to talk about, but at the end of the day, it is just talk. Like, the Celtics didn't lose that game because of that injury. They lost the game because they were fatigued, didn't take the opportunities to finish series as earlier, like the Milwaukee series or the Miami Heat series. Like, if they would have taken those opportunities, who knows, they wouldn't have been fatigued as much, and they might have had a bit more fight to the point where they could have won 2 more games in that series and not lost it. But at the end of the day, you have to just praise the Warriors for being knowledgeable about that position and being in that position and knowing what it takes to win. And looking back on the NBA Finals, that experience and that drive and knowing what it takes to win in that position is a major factor, in my opinion, why the Warriors won that game and that series to win it all, because they just had the experience. They didn't have any fear. Steph Curry did not have fear. Klay Thompson did not have fear. Draymond Green did not have fear. No matter how badly any of these players played in one game, they came back the next game and just did what they needed to do. I kind of felt as if the Celtics players kind of let stuff overhang from the last game. We saw that in game 5, overhung into game 6, and it was kind of like a similar kind of story. And that was kind of one of the main issues why, before even going into game 6, I thought game 6 would be it. And yeah, that is the main reason why the Celtics lost their NBA Finals. Not because Jason Tatum. I don't want to put as like the distribution towards the whole team is the same. I'm not putting like more blame on Jason Tatum. He doesn't deserve that. He's a great player and he gave his all to the team, and I don't want to hear people putting all the blame on him, because it's not all his fault. It's the team's fault, and the Warriors just being a better team. But that is the end of the video, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much.